Welcome to I Love My HBCU ? The podcast where we express our undeniable love for HBCUs, but where we are also not afraid to address a few tough questions. So, sit back, learn a little, love a lot, and rep your HBCU. Okay, if you see there's a beautiful young gentleman joining me today. He is
How
in
y'all
a
doing?
lovely space with a pink New York hat. So those of us who are watching, you're getting a treat with me today because very soon I'm also going to shout out where you might have seen him go viral. But David and Yenwe, we're both Nigerians.
Tight.
How are
Yeah,
you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I'm excited to be here, excited to be a part of this. Long time coming. Last week, I may or may not have did some nonsense, so I had to make up for it today. So I'm excited to be here.
So okay. So I was not going to put you on the spot, but I'm so glad that you put yourself on the spot and you
Yeah,
apologize, and I sincerely
absolutely.
appreciate it.
Yeah, that's on me.
We have already had quite a bit of fun with David even before we hit record,
Yeah,
and during the test,
just
David,
stop there.
David,
Just stop.
David, David.
No, just stop there, Jerry.
David, I am pleading with you. I am pleading with you. It is one of my favorite. So David went viral not too long ago by having a tiny desk-esque session in his room, and he does quite a few of these, and a lot of us have fallen in love with these jam sessions that he has. And during our test record before we hit record today, David gave me a tune and he is trying to deprive me of the rest of it. Come on, David.
Am I by me rock by fall? That's all you finna get. I ain't finna finish it. You can
That's
finish it.
not fair.
You can finish it.
That
I'm
is
not gonna
not
finish it.
fair.
I can't finish
I'm
it.
not the one, David,
Oh,
I'm not the
you
one
told
that
me
went
to test the
viral
mic.
for having tiny desk sessions. I'm not the one with the voice. You're the one with the voice. Come on.
Unfortunately for you, I cannot give you that voice right now. But hey, I got you. I got you with a personal one. I'll do a personal tiny desk just for you with your
I'll
favorite
take it.
songs.
So
I'll do a
how about
personal
this?
one for
How
you.
about this? How about this? The next time you do a tiny desk, you
Yeah.
make sure you feature that song and you do a shout out to I love my HBCU ? How about that?
I'm on. Shake on that. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
There we go. Got it.
I'm
Okay,
cool with
okay, okay. So yes, those joining us, you know who this is. I'm Tosin Richard with I Love My HBCU ? And if you can't tell, I'm excited to have David be the person with me that I'm conversing with today. David, even though we know you in a very musical sense, you are an econ and finance major at TSU, and that is Tennessee State University.
that. It is.
Help us understand how those two things blend so well together, i.e., this music, this person passionate about music, not just as one who listens, but one who engages, produces, but also having this major that may seem a little far-fetched from it. Tell us.
How do they mesh well together? They don't. Um, it's a lot of time that goes into both of them. I was never like I was never one to be like the studious. I was always the one that was doing everything but school. So, but when I got to college, let's make it or break it time. So, um, it doesn't really mesh well together, but with God, all things are possible. So, you just gotta plan your time properly. And with God, I was able to make things happen, and I found my way on the best podcast there is. So, yeah.
So, so I personally think it meshes well together. because I'm one of those people that believes that no matter how opposing one's passions might look, as you said, with time and effort, there's a way to make them blend well. And we never know which one is going to be the one that ends up being the top dog in your life. I know there are enough Nigerians who, I'm Nigerian, I'm proudly Nigerian, by the way. And there
For
are
sure.
enough Nigerians who are listening to this and they're like, he needs to tell us how he selected his major. And listen, I love my parents. We love our parents. But let's go there for a hot second, David. Most of
Okay.
our parents are very particular about us picking professional majors. Don't if that's the same case with you and your parents said that you had to, don't put them out like that. Don't do that to them. Don't. But what
No, I'm gonna put them out.
inspired this
I'm gonna put
econ
them out.
and finance? You're gonna go
Um,
ahead.
yeah, I'm going. Yeah, 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 yeah. Amigo, look, look. So, um, I was ever since I was young, I was always into music, and like typical Nigerian. My dad a doctor, and my mom's a nurse. So, my brother's in med school. My other brother's doing bio med, whatever it's called. I don't even know. My sister wants to do pediatrics. I'm the only one that's not doing health. So when they peeped that I wasn't going that route, it was like, okay, cool. So, but you got to do something. And so originally I was in school for business administration, but it was just smarter with the GPA that I had. You don't want to have a good GPA. You don't want to have a 3.5 in business administration because it's so broad. So my dad sat me down and he's
Mm,
like,
mm.
you're gonna do finance. I said, okay. Because if I said no, I wouldn't be on this podcast. So I said, all right. So I changed my major.
Okay. You didn't put them out badly and I appreciate that. But let's both give some context to this conversation. Um if you are Nigerian and you were raised in a Nigerian household, what David just said is a step. But David, hold on. Let's give no, David, let's give your parents some credit. It's a step in the right direction. And I say a step in the right direction. Yes, it is. It's a step in the right direction because David, little did you know that you being given the option not to go down the medical route and
You
go
know?
down the business route.
Yeah, because I hate to break it to them, to whoever's watching. If they made me go down that route, I might be one of them bad kids. Because it's one thing to like force your kid in on a road that they might be on. But I hate blood. I hate the body. I hate going into the hospital because people are sick. So
Mm,
why would you come and place me there? So I mean, yeah, they gave me that choice, but it was in their best interest because if they didn't give me that choice, there's no telling where I would be at right now. So yeah,
So I'm going to say thank you to all of our Nigerian parents who, it is out of them wanting to make sure that we are the best of the best in whatever it is that we do, that they kind of can be heavy handed. But I'm also really grateful to the ones who understand now that you can't make that choice for your child, and your child has to choose for themselves exactly what it is they want to do. So I'm grateful to them for that. Okay, David, before we get headlong into a bunch of HBCU questions that I have for you, I'm going to throw the rapid fire segment at you. It's
let's do it.
67 seconds of as many questions as possible. And David is always ready. So I'm just going to throw these questions at you. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. David, describe yourself in 3 words.
Caring, loving, passionate.
Caring, loving, passionate. Believe it or not, I wasn't expecting those, but those are beautiful. David, you are at your college graduation. Who do you want as the commencement speaker?
J. Cole.
J. Cole as the commencement speaker. Okay. What's the best meal at your HBCU?
Like, are you talking about that I've had in school or at my school? At my
At your
school,
school.
all right,
Yes.
we'll go. I'll go fried chicken Wednesday.
Fried chicken Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Ooh. Burner Boy or Ashake?
Hey,
You should see his face.
you know, you know what? I'm gonna go Asake. I'm gonna go Asake.
I'm Ashake all the way. So
Yeah,
yes.
I'm gonna go
Okay,
Asake.
okay. So I was just told that my time's up, but I'm gonna ask one more question. Shout out your favorite professor and what do they teach?
My favorite professor is Jesus, and he teaches life.
I'll take it. I'll take it off record. I want to know why for some other reason. Not why is Jesus Christ your favorite professor. That's not it. But I love how non traditional you made your answer. You're the very first person ever to give us a non traditional answer. And I don't want us to
Yeah,
go down that potential rabbit hole as to why. So I'm going to ask you off record. I'm going to ask you off record. Um, you were not born in Alabama. No, Tennessee. Why did I go to Alabama? You were not born in Tennessee, but you picked Tennessee State University as
yeah,
your academic home. Tell me how that happened. You have so many HBCUs in the country to select from. How did
yeah.
you end up in Tennessee State?
Um. Okay. Good question. So, I was born in New York, but I lived in Memphis, Tennessee, and so
Ah,
going into my senior year again, I wasn't really school. I didn't really care about school. Now, because I'm Nigerian, my grades were still good, but I couldn't care less. So
okay.
I only applied to three schools. I applied to University of Knoxville, which is it's a predominantly white school, and that's 7 hours away from Memphis. I applied to University of Memphis, which is in Memphis, and then I applied to Tennessee State University. And I didn't want to go to UT Knox because you
Mm.
know you know, but I also didn't want to go to Memphis because that's at home, and you know, you know. So ideally, Tennessee State was where I wanted to go. They gave me a good scholarship, and it's also a HBCU, which is good for my music. I knew I wanted to flourish in that, so that was what ultimately led me to go to Tennessee State.
Okay, okay. You are an econ and finance major. To the best of your ability, I want you to take the Nigerian hat off and the Nigerian upbringing just for a hot second. It sounds as if from day one, music has been your passion from day one. But
Yeah,
you are an econ and finance major. And the reason why I keep bringing those two things together is there's so many people that would say you don't need a college degree to pursue what it is you want to pursue. Yet I'm talking to you as a student at Tennessee State University. So tell me what value you think having a college degree still has, even though we all know you're going to heavily pursue music someday.
yeah. It's the value comes in the reality, right? Um, at the end of the day, everybody has a dream. Everybody has what their passion is, but not everybody's passion is their job. Not everybody's passion is their way of living, right? And so, since you was young, you was always told you gotta love what you do, but at some point, you have to face the reality that There's a passion and there's your job, and they don't always have to mix. And so
Hmm.
going to Tennessee State, if I would have majored in music, first of all, I would be in Nigeria. But you told us to refrain from that. So if I major, if I majored in music, that would almost be shortchanging myself because I came into college already somewhat established with music. So let me use this education to learn something else that could make me money, that could make me live securely, that could make me live comfortably, so that one day I can then invest in my music. So it's really just the value came into reality. Like, okay, because some people would come and tell you that they like to run, and they like to run track, but
Hmm.
that's not gonna put food on your table. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, especially as a
Not for
man, right?
everyone.
Right. At some point as a man, you got to face the reality. Like, okay, even though you may be good at this, you may be okay at this, you have to make sure that one day for your family, there's food on the table, there's a house to live in, there's clothes on their back. And so that also goes with your first question. Yeah, I'm going to school for econ and finance, but somehow, some way, I'm putting 100% into that, and I'm putting 100% into my music with the time management with God. But the value comes in the reality, facing the reality that you know you got to differentiate the two. So yeah.
I love that. I love that. I When I was in college, I grew up in the era of follow your passion, follow your passion, follow your passion, follow your passion. And I still think that's a thing. I still think it's a thing for you to follow your passion, but I appreciate that your generation, at least I'm speaking to somebody in your generation, that is you, that is grounding in reality that one's passion isn't always going to be what they find themselves doing as a career or as a job. And it doesn't mean you don't still follow your passion. There's a way for you to try to do both and see which one works out. I don't hear that a lot from your generation. I hear from your generation an all or nothing approach. So if this doesn't work, then I guess I have to do this. You haven't you haven't approached or even spoken of econ and finance as plan D, E, F, and G. It is,
Yeah.
I'm doing that at 100% the same way I'm doing music at 100%. And I think that message that you just put out there isn't spread as much with your generation, that it is not all or nothing, and you can go after everything you want to go after and see which one actually puts food on the table, because we all must eat, but also the one that just nourishes your soul and gets you excited and makes you just want to love different things about life. So kudos to you, David. Speaking of love, because I've watched your Tiny Desk a lot, a whole lot of people have watched it. Other than the fact that you love music, what inspired you to come up with that idea? Yeah, I want to hear the story behind it.
Okay. All right. So I'm going into my junior year of college, but when I first got to college, um, I first got to college as like a nobody because coming from the household that I came from, I went to school, I went to church, I went to the library, and I went to my house. So I wasn't really
Hmm.
exposed to a lot. So it was really just me and music, my friends, me and my like music. So when I got to college, I approached things in the same way, to in the sense that it didn't take long for people to catch on that music was David, oh, he makes music, oh, David makes that. So when I first got to college, I dropped a song called Come Home, and I did a tiny desk for it recently, but that song came out in 2022, and that kind of sparked my artist career. almost. And so I started doing shows from there. Like TSU would ask me to come perform here, come perform there. But how I was raised in the church, there has to be a piano, there has to be a drum, there has to be there has to be instruments when you perform. That's how I dream of performing. But there's a lot of equipment that has to go into that. And so sometimes when I would perform, I wouldn't be able to perform with those instruments. I wouldn't be able to perform how I wanted to because the equipment or because it was too late notice. So it got to the point where I was just like, man, I'm tired of not being able to perform how I want to perform every time that I want to perform. Because though I understand that I'm not the biggest artist out there by a long shot, I also understand that the level at which I perform is affected by the instruments that I have around me. So when
Hmm. Hmm.
one of the recent shows, I couldn't, I practiced with a whole band and I couldn't have a whole band. That's when I said, I'm finished. I'll just do it on my own. So that's when I was like, you know what? Let me bring the instruments into my room. So we snuck the people in, uh, and so that's what sparked the tiny dorm series was the fact that I wanted to do things my way. So yeah.
And I heard you correct me, but you corrected me so politely, and I appreciate you for it. Because Tiny Desk belongs to NPR. It's Tiny Dorm, and I love, love, love the branding of Tiny Dorm. So my apologies. I'm going to say
Oh
Tiny
no, you're good.
Dorm
You're
from
good.
now
You're good.
onwards, because that's
You're
exactly
good.
what it is. I love that story. Wow. So my father, who I speak of a lot, is always talking about some of the best ideas didn't come from some brilliance. We weren't just sitting there someday and oh my gosh, no, it comes out of necessity. And even this came out of necessity of how you wanted your music to be played and how you wanted to play your music. Separate from J. Cole, because you've already mentioned him, who are your current top five favorite artists?
Okay. Top five. So other than J. Cole, right? Um,
Yes.
Rod Wave. Rod Wave is in there. Um, as of recently, I'm gonna put Gunna because he done got me through a couple of hard times. I'm gonna put Gunna in there. Um, there's an artist called Rilo Rodriguez. I'm gonna replace No Cat with Rilo Rodriguez. I'm gonna put I'm gonna put Ty Tribbett in there. I'm gonna put Ty Tribbett because his energy is crazy. And gee, as of recently, actually, I'm gonna put Asake. He been going crazy. I've recently
Okay.
got on the Afro. I've recently got on the Afro beats, so that's why it's not really in there. But Asake been going crazy, so I'm gonna put him in there.
So let me say this. I love, 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 love Asake.
He been going crazy, bro.
but but what I love about Asake is I don't believe you can listen to that guy and just be a wallflower. So I love to dance as well. And so I don't believe you can listen to him and be a wallflower. But being a Yoruba girl, I love the fact that he speaks Yoruba ever so fluently all through his music. It just, I was in Paris last year, and there are a bunch of other countries that I've been to, and I'm literally in a regular grocery store or in a regular store, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Ashake! Like, and he's speaking Yoruba. It excites the living daylights out of me. Okay, putting my excitement aside, you didn't see my face when you were naming these people. And I was like, does this
Yeah,
age me that I don't know who half of these people
yeah.
are?
I figured. I figured. I figured.
I know Ty Tribbett. That's the only person. Ty Tribbett and Ashake. Ashake because he's Nigerian. Ty Tribbett. I know gospel. I don't know who these other people are. So can you just for your aunties, right? For your elders,
Yeah, yeah.
what genre is Rod Wave? What genre is Gunna? What genre? You said Rodriguez?
Rilo Rodriguez. So those are actually Nigerian artists, and
Rilo.
yeah, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Oh, that's
I'm just
fine.
playing.
That's fine. That's fine.
No,
Okay,
they're
okay.
it's
Tell
it's
me,
like rap.
because I don't think I'm the only one. Okay, they're all rap. They're all rap. Okay.
They're
Okay. Will
sing.
I like
There's
the
like
rap?
yeah.
Will I?
It's like singing almost.
Go
So
ahead. Would I like the rap?
uh nah, nah, nah,
Okay. So
nah.
I'm gonna stick with Ty on your list. I'm gonna stick with Ty Tribbett and Asake. Okay.
Yeah.
But I am grateful. I'm grateful your generation is gonna know who Rod Wave is. I don't know who Rod Wave is. And they're going to know who Gunna and I can't even get the last one right. Let's move on because I
Rilo,
can't get the
listen,
last one
listen,
right.
listen. Rilo Rodriguez.
Rilo. I keep saying Lilo. Rilo Rodriguez. Rilo
Perfect.
Rodriguez. And
Perfect.
again, for anybody listening, especially in your generation that's judging me, that's fine. Judge away. That's perfectly fine. Um, this isn't my generation of music to listen to, clearly, but I'm going to give each a listen just to see what they're talking about. And
Yeah.
yeah, judge away. It's perfectly fine. Judge away. Judge away. Okay, David, what does TSU get right for you?
Okay. TSU, just me growing as a man. That's what they get right for me. Because um, before TSU, I was really, really sheltered. Nigerian parents. So when I got out there, I started experiencing things for my own. I grew a lot out there. My relationship with God grew out there. And I think it's just because I really was on my own. Really, it was me and my friends. My parents weren't there to tell me this, that. So, just independency really is what they get right from me.
David, I'm going to push you. You know me by now, so you know I'm going to push you. And you gave me an answer that almost any college you went to would have gotten that right as well. So I want you, please, yes,
Okay,
I want you to show TSP just a little bit of love. A
okay.
little bit of love.
Let
Tell
me
me,
see.
it could be small. David, it could be how amazing the landscaping team is at TSU. It could be, David, it could be how amazing the janitorial service team is at TSU. It could be how amazing your president is at TSU. You've got to give me one thing that
Hmm,
you've observed that TSU gets right. I'm not letting you off the hook on that one.
let me think. Can I say? Phew, that's a good. That's now that I think that's a really good question. Not to say that TSU don't get things right. Um, to be honest, I would say just how much of like a home it feels. I don't think I would feel like at any other school how I feel at TSU just because of how they embraced me for my music or how I was. Because contrary to popular belief, um, I'm kind of shy. So like when I first started doing music, they embraced me for that. I don't think any school would have embraced me how TSU did. So I'll say the culture, how they embrace me, and yeah, just how cool people are. I'll say that because that you won't find that anywhere
So
else.
TSU, Tennessee State University. Thank you for embracing David Inyenwe the
Thank
way
you.
that you have embraced him, because he may not necessarily get that anywhere else.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
the flip side, and don't give me too many of these, because
Ah.
on the flip side, see, don't do that. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
On the flip side, what does TSU get wrong for you?
Housing. Well, not well for me. For me. Oh,
Housing. Okay.
for me. I have housing, so let me not. For me, what they get wrong, you know, this isn't really that big, but I hate sleeping in a hot room. I hate sleeping in a hot room, and sometimes that AC don't be working, man. Sometimes they say forget AC, man. So I say they don't get the AC right for me, and the AC.
That's good. So I started laughing initially when you said air conditioning. And then it reminded me, so I'm at Morgan State University. I always shout out Morgan State University. Um, However, when you said air conditioning, I remember the fact that every time I walk into my office, actually into the building, it's about five different temperatures going on at the same time. And I'm learning that that's not unique to Morgan State University. I'm learning that so many of our institutions, the temperature is just erratic at different
Or
times. Like we're recording this in the summer, and when I tell you it is freezing, it is freezing. You need to come in with your jacket into my office. It is insane. So when you said AC, I was like, where's he going with this? But I can actually relate with you on that. I actually can. So I take
yeah,
my laughter back, because I was like, where's David going
yeah,
with this? David, um, oh, David, dream with me. Dream with me. Or rather, invite me into your dream. How about that?
okay.
Where do you see David in 10 years?
Married with kids. Um, I see myself as a star in the music industry, but also in real estate, econ and finance, of course. I see myself in a nice house with nature in the back, with my kids and my wife playing around. My wife actually is going to be a nurse, so shout out to her. Um, I see myself having a better relationship with God and my family, giving back to people, and just being a beacon of hope and positivity for people. So, yeah,
Thank you for inviting me into your dream. Something stuck out to me. Several things stuck out to me. And listen, the audience is not going to be a part of this, but once we stop hitting record, I've got a lot of questions for you. You know I do.
I got you.
But you said your wife is going to be a nurse. Do we know who she is?
No.
You were cheesing so hard though before you said no. You were cheesing so hard before
Wait,
you said no. That means,
do y'all know or do me?
do
I
you
know who
know
she
who?
is.
Do you?
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, I've got questions for you when we end
Yeah,
this recording. I've got questions for you. I've got questions for you. Okay,
yeah, she
so
made me
as you
happy.
know, she makes you happy. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, and she's
Yeah,
a nurse, or is she training to be a nurse?
she's in the BSN program, so she's becoming a nurse real soon. I'm gonna be at that little graduation.
Wow. This is beautiful, and I look forward to
Yeah,
watching how this blossoms through the years. I really, really do. So, David, anyone that tunes into I love my HBCU question mark knows that we love to hear what our beautiful Black students, alumni, have to say about issues going on in the world. There's so many issues going on in the world currently. And I'd love to get your take on. I don't want to throw an issue at you that you may not necessarily have on your radar. Instead, I'd like you to share with me of all the, oh wow, of all the multitude of issues going on in the world, what is the one issue that either keeps you up at night or gives you so much hope?
Man, to be honest, I know is the war going on and the genocide and things like that. The one that's always kept me up at night is world hunger. Like, that's one that they try to sleep under the rug. And it's such, contrary to popular belief, it's such a simple fix. It's just people are so corrupted or greedy. You know, it's nothing to end world hunger. If you think about it for what it is, it's nothing to end it. It's just, man, I don't know. But the one that weighs on my heart is world hunger. Because there be times where, like, I'll get busy or I'm in the studio or I've got to go to class or go to work. I may skip a meal and I'm like, geez, I'm kind of hungry. But people go through that on the daily, So just that one really weighs on my heart for real. Um, Another one is, and this is very, very broad to me, but um, I respect as a whole what women bring to the table. I respect women. And so the fact that they're not as safe as they should be, they're not as protected as they should be, that one also weighs on my heart a lot. The stories that you can find or you can hear, you know, like even now, you guys are scared to walk by yourselves or y'all have to go places with pepper spray or things like that. That one weighs on my heart as well because that's not how it should be. So, them two really, somebody who has a little sister or my mom or, you know, my girl, things like that. So, um, them two really weigh on my heart.
You said when you talked about hunger and world hunger, you said that, and I'm going to paraphrase if you don't mind, or reword your words if you don't mind. You said that it wouldn't take that much to end world hunger. um what ideas come to mind? What ideas do you think of when you look at the fact that there's still several areas of the world that literally go through constant states of starvation? um what's the fix when you say it would not take that much to end it? What are the fixes that you are thinking of that you're like, why is this still a thing for us in this day and age?
I think a while back I looked up like how much money wise, because everything on earth is about money now, how much it would cost to end world hunger. And the number was not as big as I thought it would have been. Like the number of how much now, it may change now due to inflation, but
Of
the
course.
number that I saw, if you took some of the wealthiest people, they could end it on their own. And so, what more of people who would want to donate, right?
Hmm.
The money is not the problem as to why world hunger is a thing. It's greed. It's
Hmm.
people being greedy because when you give the money to those people, they pocket it, they take it. It's people being corrupt. And so, uh, it wouldn't take much to end it. It would just take pure hearts and love. So, yeah.
I hear it a lot from literally all types of cultures, that this generation, your generation, isn't as motivated by financial gain. You want to have things, don't get me wrong, you want to have things. But I hear that your generation is not as motivated by financial gain as past generations might have been. Because of that, I'm hopeful that your generation will actually help resolve more of the issues that past generations have exacerbated. because I listened to what you're saying. I think we might have read the same study. I would not do a good job of paraphrasing it because it's been a while since I read it, but it was a remarkably lower than expected number that it would
Right.
take to actually fully address the disparities of world hunger. And it led me, I don't know if it led you down this rabbit hole, but it led me down this rabbit hole of, then perhaps we just don't want to end it. If it would take something that we would not have thought would be that large of a number to truly address this, and we're not addressing it, not adequately anyway, then some of these issues that exist, it must be that we just don't want them to go away. So I'm hopeful that your generation, I mean it, will be the generation and beyond that it's not about accumulating and hoarding, but it is about distributing in a manner that more people get impacted. So even though I asked you for an issue, listening to the issue and speaking to somebody of your generation, I'm hopeful that you have an answer for us that we have not been able to give for ourselves. Before we end, David, I know we've spoken about a lot. You've called out your parents, I didn't, but we've spoken about a lot.
Yeah.
Is there something that you wanted to bless the audience with? And it could be that song of mine that you refuse to sing. But is there something that you want to bless the audience with before we end our recording?
Yeah. Keep God first, man. Uh, keep God first, bro. Fear the Lord. I fear God. He'll make your path straight. So, like, if you don't know what you're doing, trust God. Keep Him first. And also, if you don't know what to do or if you don't know what to say, don't say anything and don't do anything. Don't do anything and don't say nothing. But other than that, man, y'all follow my Instagram at underscore sincerely David underscore. I got a lot of content coming for y'all. I got a lot of music coming for y'all. Got a lot of shows coming for y'all. I love the support. Shout out to Toast and shout out to everybody for having me here. I love you guys and put God first. Jesus is my Lord and Savior. So yeah.
David, I won't add anything to that, but I will ask you to leave our audience with a parting word or short phrase on why you love HBCUs.
I love HBCUs because HBCUs love us.
This has been an amazing episode. We've had a lot of laughs. Once we hit end, David and I have a lot more to get into based on some of the things that I've heard him say. But I appreciate every single person who keeps tuning in. Thank you for tuning into this episode of I Love My HBCU question mark. I hope I've earned the pleasure of you subscribing wherever you get your podcasts. How could you not go ahead and hit like with David as my guest today? David, thank you so much.
Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all.
Thank you. You've been listening to I Love My HBCU question mark. Let's keep the conversation going as we share our stories and encourage more practical support of HBCUs, whilst of course holding each other accountable. Don't forget to follow and subscribe for the latest episodes. Until next time, love and lift your HBCU.